Welcome to Rise Up TV, Andy Atkinson here down at the LNER, and it is back to Rugby League Championship action for the Knights today. It'll be a good game against Doncaster. The Knights on a good run, 3 wins on the bounce. Doncaster, they got that handy win over Toulouse, so they'll be a tough proposition today for the Knights, but cracking game in prospect here on Rise Up TV. And kick-off obviously coming up very, very shortly. But let's get the thoughts of the two coaches ahead of kick-off. Great for you to join us, Doncaster today here in the Rugby League Championship. Tough prospect?
Yeah, very tough prospects. Obviously on the same points as us, same ambitions as us, obviously trying to climb that league ladder. It's fair to say that, you know, we've not started how we want to start, and Doncaster's been in a couple of close games where they've probably felt a bit hard done by. So it's got all the makings for a really good game, and we know we need to be at our best to get the 2 points today, and it's a game we're looking forward to.
Yeah, you've been in good form, 3 wins on the bounce, and 1 or 2 troops back today. I presume Ata Ngano's back on the team sheet today, is he?
Yeah, Ata could have played last week, but as you've said, we've been on a decent 3-match run there, so we just felt it were probably better just to let his hand rest another week, but he'll be straight back in at 6 today, and Macro moved back to 9, so it's a welcome selection headache. You know, as I said, at Barrow we're down to his last 17, and then all of a sudden now I've got 10 excess bodies, so it's sort of headache you want as a coach, and we can start rewarding, as we are, people that's doing the job. They'll keep the shirt. It's as simple as that, and a bit of pressure from lads outside the squad never hurts anyone, does it?
No, certainly not. And I mean, it looks a strong lineup. You'll be confident of a win.
Yeah, I think the beauty of the championship this year is that anyone can beat anybody, and we know that, you know, if we're not as best, Doncaster will burn us. You know, in saying that, we know that if we play how we want to play, we're a decent team and a bit of a force to be reckoned with. But Doncaster could say exactly the same, as could 9 or 10 others. So it's definitely a game that we're not taking lightly by any means, and we're looking forward to it. It'll be a real physical game. I think Doncaster's one of the biggest teams in the league, and we've got to make sure we try and nullify that advantage that they've got by keeping that ball in play, and hopefully using a bit of our athleticism that we've got to wear their big middles out.
Mike, all the very best this afternoon. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Rich, you're looking forward to today's game. It should be a tough game in prospect.
Yes, certainly. I think last time we came here it was a real physical game. I thought the difference was, York took their opportunities where we didn't, and I think they pulled away a little bit. And probably the scoreline didn't reflect how physical and how competitive the game was. So, and it's something we spoke about. You come up against York, you've got to execute. You've got to take your chances when they come.
Yeah. I mean, you're in good form. Handy win over Toulouse, week off last week. Is that a benefit or not a benefit, really?
Not really. You like to just keep momentum, and I think it sort of disrupts it a little bit. But you know what I mean. We've everyone's got over the little bumps and bruises, if anything. And just looking forward to this competition.
Yeah, and you've got 1 or 2 ex-York lads in there. They'll be keen to pull one over on their old side today. Yeah,
it always adds to it, doesn't it? Everyone always, if you've come from playing against the previous team, you want to put your best foot forward and put in a performance, so hopefully they do.
Yeah. 1 or 2 missing as well. I noticed Beretta Faraimo not in the squad today. Paulie missing, Ben Johnson.
Yeah, they've all just picked up some injuries. We've just not available for this selection for this week, and Polly, obviously, he's had a bit of a clean out on his knee, so he's still maybe a couple of weeks away. But no, look, we've put our strongest team that's available out here, and
at hooker after doing really well in partnership with Liam Harris over the last 3 games. At half-back, Jack Martin, Paul McShane, Akuma Tai, the front row, Jesse D, Connor Bailey, and Jordan Thompson, the evergreen Jordan Thompson, the back 3 as the players come out. Off the bench, it's Brendan Santi, Sam Cook, Harvey Reynolds, and Kieran Hudson, who gets his first competitive start of the season. The 3 missing out, Jude Ferreira, Taylor Pemberton, and Jack Teamby from the win against Widnes. And the Doncaster side, Craig Hall, phenomenal points machine that is Craig Hall. At fullback, Luke Briscoe, Reece Lynn, Alex Sutcliffe, and the Papua New Guinea player Edini Gebi across the backs. Watson Boas and Connor Robinson at halfback, Hugo Salabio, Greg Burns, Sui Matagi, Jake Jones, Sam Smeaton and Brad Knowles are the starting forwards, and off the bench, former Knights player Jordan Baldwinson, Louis McConnell, Will Wilson, and Papua New Guinea veteran Jason Talley. Missing for them, Brad Hay, Josh Bowden, Paulie and Ben Johnston. So we're ready to go. Referee today's Matty Lynn. You are listening to BBC Radio York, all our frequencies and online. I'm pleased to have Mick Ramsden alongside me today, and it's going to be Doncaster to kick off in that blue kit with the yellow trim. And the Knights in their home kit, the black and amber, are going to receive this kick from Craig Hall. Puts his hands up, signals the ball's away. It drifts downfield. The Knights have let it bounce, and Joe Brown just about retrieves it before it goes dead, and never let a rugby ball bounce. And there was a bit of an intake of breath there, Mick Ramsden.
Yeah, got away with that one.
Yeah, Jack Martin trying to lead the charge back upfield now. And good run by Jack Martin, the Aussie, formerly with Wynnum Manly Seagulls. And the Knights fans in good voice early, off the back of 3 wins on the trot, as Connor Bailey just receiving that little inside ball from his skipper Liam Harris. Knights make progress towards halfway. Important up front today, Doncaster, big pack, powerful pack, and Knights have got to combat that, Mick Ramsden.
They have, yeah. They were really strong against Toulouse 2 weeks ago. 2 good packs going against each other, and Doncaster got the upper hand of that one.
Angle kick from Liam Harris, and Luke Briscoe playing ping pong with that one. He just flicked off his fingers. He managed to retrieve it, and it also gave the Knights chase time to get to him. So 25 from his own line. Watson Boas with the little ball into Reece Lynn, the former England international. Reece Lynn was with Hull and Wakefield. And Doncaster coming forward there in the form of Sui Matagi. Ball onto the left side of the attack. And they make ground up to halfway. They'll certainly not want to start like Widnes did last week. Widnes were blown away very early by the Knights in that game. Good running down that short side. Moving the ball onto the left wing, thrown back inside, but it's going to be collected by Ben Jones-Bishop. But initially it was good work out there, and it was Edini Gebi, the dangerous Papua New Guinea player, formerly with Whitehaven.
Good feet there, Andy, on the left side of Gebi.
Yeah, tricky, and he's quick as well, Mick.
Yep.
Played down under for Townsville Blackhawks, did Edini Gebi. The Knights fans are in good voice today, very early. Confident that the Knights can do a job today, but it's going to be difficult against a powerful Doncaster side. Paul McShane out to play the ball at Ngannou. No look passing to Jesse D. And he disappears under the Doncaster tacklers. Reece Lynn was the last one off him. Ngannou looks for the kick, hoists the kick. Craig Hall manoeuvres underneath it, getting towards the touchline. Been stolen by Galliano. Tried to flick the pass inside to Holyfield, and it was intercepted. He's a dangerous man under the high ball, is Scott Galliano. He seems to judge it so well, and he's got a bit of spring heel to him. But great job, and Doncaster just about escaping. Looked as though he was going to get Holyfield in. Luke Briscoe now, the former Leeds and Featherstone player, sets about moving Doncaster back upfield. Greg Burns, one of the Burns brothers in rugby league, and then the ball inside and a high tackle on the Doncaster player that brings him to ground quite heavily. It was just a loose arm, Mick.
It was a loose arm. There wasn't a lot of contact in it, but he certainly made contact with his head. Yeah, just maybe, I think it was possibly Jesse D who just caught a little bit off balance there, but good start by both teams, really.
Yeah, it's been lively. It's Watson Boas that took the knock. 15 appearances for Papua New Guinea, and he's had a decent career at Doncaster. But he felt that one. What's Luke Briscoe got sticking out the back of his shirt down in front of us, Mick?
Yeah, there's some kind of padding coming out the back of his shirt, I'm not too sure.
Unless it's his little monitor, is it the meterage monitor that they use these days? I don't know.
Yeah, possibly.
Curious. So, referee Matty Lynn just having a quick word. Just orchestrating the penalty for Doncaster off the back of that high challenge, and Craig Hall puts the ball into touch. So the Knights with a bit of defending to do after looking as though they might open the Doncaster defence with that catch of the high ball. Hingano's high ball by Scott Galliano, former Sunshine Coast Falcons player. Burns in the scrum cap. Moves the ball to Hugo Salabio, the French international. Played in the French Elite League with Pierre Donkeys and then moved to the UK. Connor Robinson chips the ball onto Craig Hall. Ball out wide. And Alex Sutcliffe tries to thread his way infield. Now he's trying to organise the defence. Joe Brown gesturing frantically to get players along the line, and then a drop ball. But there's a bit of a difference of opinion there between Brad Knowles and Connor Robinson about the quality of the pass.
Didn't think there was much wrong with it myself there, Andy.
No, I didn't either. I don't know whether Brad Knowles was expecting it. They're still having a conversation about it, Mick. 7 and 8. Or a 2 and 8.
He'll always blame his halfback, won't he?
A bit of a 2 and 8 going on, or a 7 and 8. So, Knights Hull. We've had 5 minutes. It's still 0-0 here at the LNER. 6th round of the championship. 8 playing 9, but both in decent form. Quick play the ball, and Liam Harris jumps out of there very sharply. Just tests out that left side Doncaster defence as they try and usher him towards the touchline in the lee of the West Stand over there. Connor Bailey with the carry again. Hull FC bound at the end of the season. And they had another handy win, I notice. Took out Warrington at Warrington. They're an altogether different proposition this time, the Hull side. Under John Cartwright. Jesse D on the angled run. Taken out by the tackler Sui Matagi, and then Hingano again, and once more he looks for Craig Hall, and once more Scott Galliano look for this one, but just this time Hall gets under the ball, takes the tackle just inside the Doncaster 20. Holyfield already combative there at marker. Brad Knowles, another ex-Featherstone player in this Doncaster lineup. Connor Robinson just trying to prompt Doncaster forward. Here's Salabio again with the headband, and again Brad Knowles seems to be on the end of passes he's not expecting today, Mick.
No look pass there from Salagio, and he wasn't really ready, was it?
No, he wasn't, but he took it in this time. Kick downfield from Craig Hall, caught on the full by Joe Brown. And a very, very late tackle there on Joe Brown from Watson Boas, waved away by the referee. And then It was Galliano trying to milk the penalty. Referee Matty Lynn says get on with it. He wants this game to flow, this young referee, but the Knights have a set restart.
He's doing well as a referee, actually. He's letting the game go, letting it flow pretty well.
Certainly is. Jody Thompson sets off at pace, hesitates, beats Salabio, goes round him as though he wasn't there really. Finally reeled in by the tackle of Knowles, and then Jack Martin, and the Knights forwards getting them on the front foot here. Into the 10, McShane to Hingano, to Harris, linking up, and then a short ball to Buchanan, crashes onto it, stopped just short. Good tackling there by Alex Sutcliffe for Doncaster. Joe Brown is just going to die under the tackle here, midway between the right-hand post and right-hand corner flag. McShane goes on his own, twists and turns it into a try. Fabulous work by Paul McShane, the little jack-in-a-box out of the play the ball. The Knights set the position, and the Doncaster defence a little bit at 6s and 7s, and the vastly experienced Super League player has got the Knights on the board early. We have had around about 8 minutes here at the LNER, and Paul McShane gets his second try of the season after that one he copped last week against Widnes. Mick Ramsden, your thoughts on the try?
He's always going to be open to getting out of acting half-back if the marker's that set. Richard Horn won't be happy with his marker defence there. He shouldn't really be allowing a try to come from that position, but well done, McShane. Good start by York. Both teams started very well, but that's first points on the board to the York side.
Yeah, kick to come, and I'm pretty sure it will be Liam Harris tasked with the goal-kicking duties today. None the worse for that little injury he picked up a couple of weeks ago. Played through the pain barrier last week against Widnes. And took my man of the match award, although the official man of the match award went elsewhere. That sun's gone, Mick, that you were hoping was going to reach us.
It's not coming, Andy.
No, it turned left at Clifton.
Yeah, it's got more and more cloudy as we've in the last 20 minutes, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Bit of a wind to deal with as well today.
Yeah, not easy for the fullbacks and wingers under the high ball. Liam Harris looks for the conversion and misses the conversion, so it remains 4 points to 0. Shaq O'Neill out there now back to fitness, who for another former Castleford player who's running the water out for the Knights. The one contending for a starting place. Competition for place is really useful for Mark Applegarth, the York Knights head coach. So Craig Hall with the restart for Doncaster. 350 career appearances, top sides of, and over 2,000 points. Craig Hall, real points machine in his time at Featherstone, Wilkingston Rovers, Toronto. Kumatai with the carry, the big man.
Tell you what, Galliano felt that tackle. He got a shot off Salabio, real heavy shot. Solid play, actually, Salabio.
Yeah, Scott Galliano seems to have shrugged it off anyway, Mick. Looks none the worse for wear as the Knights come forward again through Jack Martin, who's ever competitive and combative up front. Been a great signing for the Knights. Ty just flips the ball up there for Jody Thompson to run onto. On the last tackle for the Knights, they'll look for the kick. This time it's going to be Liam Harris. Will he launch it high? He does. Let the wind do its work, and Craig Hall's all at sea. This ball's bouncing back towards the Knights. That was some catch. One-handed catch from Craig Hall, but just for a second or so, under real pressure. The Knights will now look to defend this in the Doncaster 20. Useful kick from Liam Harris, Mick Ramsden.
What a good chase as well. Holyfield almost lifted him. I thought they were going to get him dragged back over the try line, but not. He managed to hit the ground. Yeah,
it looked like it for a moment or two. Craig Hall using his experience, vast experience, as Doncaster find a bit of wind in the sails and get out to the 30. And then Alex Sutcliffe straight out of the play. The ball now running laterally towards us in the main stand. Turns left and gets just about to halfway, but it is on the last for Doncaster. Greg Burns weighs up his options, goes to Connor Robinson. Connor Robinson lofts that high off his left boot. Joe Brown takes it like he's shelling peas. And Joe Brown breaks the tackle. It was Watson Bowers that fell off the tackle a little bit and needed his colleagues to help him out. It was Smeaton and Matagi. And then Galliano again. He really thumps that ball up. Does Scott Galliano. Joe Brown into Holyfield. Good defence from Doncaster in the form of Brad Knowles. Ngannou restored to the lineup today after that hand injury, and then Jack Martin takes over. Finds some stiff defence this time. Brad Knowles once again involved for Doncaster. Jody Thompson trying to get wrestle his way past Greg Burns on the last tackle. And it's just outside the Doncaster 20. They go left. Ngannou flips the ball off that left boot. Galliano's up again. Knocked back. Knocked forward, I think, by a Doncaster player, actually. The referee has pinged Doncaster for offside, I think, Azimic.
Yeah, I think, he has. Doncaster was caught offside there. That's 3 kicks into that side now, Andy. I don't know if that's a game plan. It seemed to be the patterns emerging there. Kick into Briscoe's side on all 3 occasions.
So, chance for the Knights, field position on the 10. They go to Jack Martin. He'll only go in one direction. That's straight at that try line. We've seen him get over in situations like that in the last couple of weeks, where he's got over the try line, looked as though he'd been held up, and just finds an arm from somewhere. We did call him the man with 3 arms last week, but didn't manage it there. Doncaster managed to hold on to him. Jody Thompson tries to batter the front door down, but Doncaster resolute in defence. McShane, short ball. Jesse D trying to force over. Jesse D, can he get that ball down? No, he's held up. Great try-line defence by the Dons. Watson Bowers, I think, the last man up. Strong work by the Doncaster defence as Jesse D looked as though he was going to barrel his way over. 15 in from the near touchline. They go to Ngannou, centre field. Ngannou looking for options, hooks up with his half-back partner Harris. Harris on to Joe Brown in the line, wends his way back in field. Stopped 5 metres out, the Knights still pressing. They lead 4 points to 0. BBC Radio York, 15 minutes gone here at the LNER. Liam Harris thought he was going to try and ghost through the line, but he went to Thompson. On the last tackle for the Knights, repeat set, or some points possibly. Here, Ngannou changes direction. He's going to be stopped just short. They hand over the ball right on the Doncaster try line. Decent end of set, Mick.
Decent, yeah, and dangerous. York are dangerous. Been turned over twice in a set. Thought that inside ball might have been on there, but didn't give that.
When you look at the strike weapons the Knights have in Harris, Ngannou, McShane, you know, there's a lot that they're throwing at Doncaster, and a lot for this Doncaster defence to have to contend with and think about.
Absolutely, yeah. 3 quality players, you know, there's threats in all those 3 positions. It's difficult for Doncaster.
Jake Jones with the carry. Former Coventry player, played for Leigh for a while. Nuggety little player, always busy. Do like him. Doncaster out to the 30. Still 4-0 to the Knights, that early try. Sam Smeaton with the carry. It was Paul McShane with that early try for the Knights. Jumped out of the play, the ball. Craig Hall keeping the ball under the wind. Bounces once off the turf into the hands of the York. New signing, number 35, Scott Galliano. And a good return again from the Australian winger. Holyfield. Change for the Knights. Akumatai comes off.
Quite an early change, really. It's 15 minutes.
Yeah, I think they go, you know, the big man, they've got to manage his time. Sam Cook it is that's gone out there. There'll be a change there. I would think that will be Sam Cook at loose forward, Jody Thompson at prop. And here is the aforementioned Jody Thompson. Oh, through a gap. Jody Thompson still going. Ngannou! Brilliant work by Jody Thompson. Just been switched to prop forward. Does a fantastic prop forwards job there in providing a try on a plate for the returning Ata Hingano, and the Knights get their second try of the game, 17 minutes in. Great work from the veterans.
It's just, I was thinking earlier in the game, when they kicked off it very early in the game, I was thinking, we're going to see Jordan Thompson scoring today. He just looks like he's on it today with his footwork. And on that occasion, again, straight down the middle, good bit of footwork, lovely pass to Hingano for a really quality try.
Yeah, Hingano, the Tongan international, just in on the to the left side of the post, took that pass 10 metres out and was able to find the try line. The Knights lead 8-0. And Liam Harris this time right in front of the sticks for the conversion. It's not quite the blistering start the Knights made against Widnes, but they've certainly got the upper hand at the moment. And Liam Harris converts 10 points to 0.
They're certainly working hard though, and you know, that's what you get when you put the effort in like they're doing. They're running hard, they're tackling strong, and they've certainly got the upper hand in the last sort of 10 minutes or so.
Little conversation going on between the skipper and the referee. I wonder what that's about. I'll be asking him what he's doing at Easter. Knights, of course, in action on Good Friday at Featherstone. 3 p.m. kickoff in that one. Jason Talley comes on, Sam Smeaton comes off. Sam Smeaton, a man who had a few games in a night shirt and shakes his head as though he might be done for the day there. That didn't look good. Changing the back row forward. And I don't think Jason Talley's had too much game time either. Well, nice work from Sam Cook to just so it was Ata Hingano actually just keeping that ball in play. And again, the Knights are a little bit lacklustre under the restart kick.
I thought Hingano could have caught that ball actually, rather than sort of batting it back and putting his teammates under pressure.
Yeah, it's a good job Doncaster didn't have a flyer down that right wing. Otherwise, they'd have been in danger of conceding there. Paul McShane jumps out to play the ball. Good work by the little man. Great work by McShane. Thought he had his best game in a night shirt last week, and he just continues to improve week on week since his arrival at York. Joe Brown picking up the loose ball. It was an untidy offload and it was threatened by Doncaster, but eventually it fell into Knights' possession. McShane prompts again. Hingano steps off the left foot, keeps the ball alive. Jack Martin once more just adds impetus, adds power. It's on the last. Knights fans are singing again. Harris, high hanging kick. Craig Hall has to go backwards. Falls down over his try line, and good presence of mind from Craig Hall. He literally crawled back into play, didn't he, Mick?
Not easy to take with that wind. There's a fair wind here today, and the ball's swirling around a bit, but
that was a good competition there. That was Jason Talley and Jack Martin. And Jason Talley stopped as though he'd run into an articulated truck. You are not going any further, Mr. Talley. Reece Lynn just trying to find a bit of space out wide on this right side. Watson Bowers, former PNG hunter, to Craig Hall, to Hugo Salabio.
Solid shot there, Andy.
Yep. Yep, defending well high up the field, the Knights again. And Connor Robinson having to kick from his own 20-metre line. That's going to bounce back towards Doncaster, but they're offside, and Liam Harris will be dangerous from here. Played a course for Doncaster at one time. Here he goes. Said he'd be dangerous from there. Harris is still going. Harris is still going. They get him within 2 metres, and Luke Briscoe's stolen the ball as well. Fabulous bit of work by the Doncaster winger. But Liam Harris, I knew as soon as that ball bounced and some of the Doncaster players had to put their hands up and say they were offside, that he was going to be dangerous in Broughton Field. Almost got the try, but great work by Luke Briscoe.
He had some players to get through there one day. He had to beat some players to make that run.
He did. But what a job by Briscoe, not only to bring him down 2 metres short, but to nick the ball off him, Mick.
Yeah, really big play that from Briscoe.
Certainly Doncaster wouldn't have wanting to concede again. Craig Hall trying to work out a defence for them.
Got some acceleration in him, Liam, hasn't he?
He has. Connor Robinson with the kick.
They can't
Again,
make any field
deep.
position, can they, Doncaster?
No, deep in his own half. Connor Robinson having to kick that one, and Joe Brown almost gets back to halfway for the Knights. I did speak to Richard Horn, the Doncaster coach, ahead of the game, and he was pretty confident that his side could do a job, but just missing a few players through bumps and bruises. Brad Knowles comes off, he's put in a good stint for Doncaster. Ben Jones-Bishop in off his wing. Came back in today for Jude Ferreira. Here's Thompson again. Constantly just rampaging forward into that defensive line. Nice reverse ball from Hingano to D. Always on the same wavelength, those two. Sam Cook to Harris. And then puts the kick out wide, but well taken out there by Adini Gebi for Doncaster, defending that one. You're listening to BBC Radio York. We have had 23 minutes of the first half. York Knights leading 10-0 here in the Championship.
Just constantly getting the ball turned over deep into their own half, Doncaster. They just can't do anything.
Yep. It's a nice bit of work. Little change of emphasis. It was Watson Bowers in the 24 shirt. Here's Bowers again. And then they spread the ball out onto the left side. Into Jason Talley, took that ball from Craig Hall. Brendan Santee about to enter the action for the York Knights. Reece Lynn just looks as though he's taking a bump on the head down in front of us. Bit of concern shown by his teammate Luke Briscoe. Play held up for a moment, but Matty Lynn, the referee, who's kept this game flowing, quite happy to let it go again. I was talking to Dave Milburn before the game, who's match commissioner today, and he was chatting about the young crop of referees, and I was saying that I was very impressed with most of them. Ryan Cox had a good game last week in the game against Widnes for the Knights. That looked like a swinging shot from Sui Matagi on Jack Martin. Referee didn't think so. It's Hingano as Doncaster under pressure again. Little no-look pass into Jesse D, who was on his shoulder, and the Aussie comes back all the way back and turns left into the defence. Former Mackay cutter within 15 metres. Brendan Santee, first carry, almost through a gap on the last. Knights within 5, McShane. It's just constant. Sam Cook gets the ball down. They just run off their feet at the moment, this Doncaster defence. It's absolutely the relentless pressure. And it was McShane again, Johnny on the spot, and he found Sam Cook, and Sam Cook, he, for a second, looked as though he might be held up, and then just forced that ball down right in front of referee Matty Lynn. And the Knights score again, and it's 14 points to 0 with 25 gone, Mick.
They're just playing too quick for Doncaster now. Doncaster are really struggling. You know, there's potential here for, if it carries on like it is, the score's going to be quite big against them here, because they're just not offering anything to deal with York's attack, which is really on form today.
Yep, it was Jordy Thompson prompting again and pushing the Knights forward. And then Paul McShane out of the play the ball. And he found Sam Cook. And Sam Cook, of course, another attacking option for the Knights. And you look across that line, you know, added to Harrison, Hingano and McShane. And you can see why Doncaster are scratching their heads a little bit, Mick.
They are, yeah. You were saying about the half-back combination with McShane back at hooker. Again, there's threats all over, and skillful players that can find the right pass, pick up the right player at the right times. And when you've got players running onto the ball like we've got today with York, the York side, again, like Doncaster are really struggling to contain them.
Mick Ramsden with me in the summarisers seat today. Brilliant to have him along as Liam Harris converts. And it is 16 points to 0. Just checking on Reece Lynn as he comes back to halfway. Seems none the worse for that bang on the head, having a conversation with Alex Sutcliffe. And Will Leet just racing back from infield. Quickly give you the AM scores from yesterday. It was a defeat for York Acorn in the Prem Division of the National Conference. They were beaten 42-24 at home against Rochdale Mayfield, but Scott Rhodes Heworth got another win on the road at Stanley, 36-12. York Barbarians in the Yorkshire Men's League beat Goole Vikings 34-10, and New Earswick All Blacks, they beat Wyke by 20 points to 10. So a pretty successful day for our community sides yesterday, and Heworth continuing to go well. Paul McShane again, Brendan Santee. Brendan Santee just adding some power, and just 20-25 minutes in, important to make an impact at that point. Just reinvigorate this York side. Hingano tries to go around Reece Lynn, throws the ball back towards Jesse D, does a bit of tidying up. Comes back the same way. And eventually, I think Jesse D's going to have to give best and take the tackle as Doncaster finally get enough troops there, and then he gets the penalty. Would you believe it? And that must be dispiriting from a Doncaster point of view, and a bit of a coach killer for Richard Horne. They're going to cede some metres again, and I think it was Sui Matagi, the former Castleford and Huddersfield player. Dual international, of course, Samoa and New Zealand. But he's coughed a penalty up there, and Holyfield's already tapped the ball.
Interchange for
Watson Bowers makes the tackle.
Leaving the field, number 28, Hughes Salamio, being replaced by number 15, Jordan Baldwinson.
Yeah, Jordan Baldwinson, his return to a York Rugby League field. 18 appearances for the Knights, Jordan Baldwinson, before he moved on to Bradford. Twist and a turn from Santee. And once more the Knights press. McShane to Hingano, Hingano to Brown. Watson Bowers wraps an arm and brings the former Bradford player to ground. Little kick through! Oh, Liam Harris, the ghost, pops out of nowhere onto that kick. And it just bounced up so conveniently into his possession. He was able to take it on the run, pops the ball down to the left of the post. And it's one-way traffic at the moment.
Certainly is.
The Knights score again, 20 points to 0.
Bit of an attacking show going on at the moment. Lovely kick that from Hingano.
Yeah, off the outside of his boot, Ata Hingano.
Just perfectly on the spot.
And we have the half an hour mark just come up with the Knights absolutely well in control. Ata Hingano's kick off the outside of his boot from around about 15 metres out, and Liam Harris was on the angled run towards the ball, picked it up on the run and went in, and Paul McShane comes off to a fabulous round of applause, shakes his head towards Mark Applegarth. Not sure what the shake of the head's for. whether he's upset and being taken off, I'm not sure.
I'll have been enjoying himself, won't he, I reckon?
Yeah, he will. Kieran Hudson's gone out there.
Interesting, Mark Applegarth on this side of the field today, Andy. It's not. Has he been doing that recently?
Yeah, he did last week against Widnes, I think. Yeah.
All right.
Yep. And Liam Harris converts his own try. And the Knights lead at 22 points to 0. And this game is quickly going south for the visitors from South Yorkshire.
Number 7, Liam Harris, sponsored by the Monk Bar Model Shop, taking Liam to over 500.
They really need to draw a line in the sand at the moment to Doncaster and restart their game, Mick.
Yeah, they need something. We've been looking left nearly the whole of the half, Andy.
We have Joe Brown takes the restart kick, flings the ball into the possession of Brendan Santee. Another York player in very good form at the moment, and then Kieran Hudson with the carry. Back after that hamstring injury that I think he played in, I'm right in saying he played in the Amsterdam Challenge. Picked up the injury and has not played since. Been working his way back to fitness. Sam Cook in at hooker now, and I think Kieran Hudson will be the Knights' third loose forward of the game.
Number 31, Kieran Hudson, in memory of John Stabler.
A bit like a chameleon, aren't they, the Knights? They keep changing shape and colour.
Yeah. Another kick down this side.
Ingano once more looks to test Luke Briscoe. In trouble, big trouble. The ball rolls towards the line. Just about gets back as Galliano threatened him. Holyfield threatened him, and sort of Craig Hall helped him out, but Doncaster going back over the try line. Fantastic defence high up the field from the Knights. Let's have a look who the instigators are. It's Hingano, Holyfield, of course, who's always in there, Scott Galliano, Jesse D. And the poor Doncaster player just ends up back over his own try line. Donny having to drop out from under their own posts. 22-0 down, 7 minutes to the break. They'll be glad to get in at the break, Mick.
They will. They're losing every challenge going at the moment.
So Craig Hall with the restart gets a decent old thump under it. The Knights are going to let it bounce again. That's Ingano. Just motions to Holyfield where he wants him to go, and then takes the tackle of Alex Sutcliffe, who seems to have swapped sides, Alex Sutcliffe, to accommodate Jason Talley. Now playing at right centre rather than left centre. Sam Cook, Geordie Thompson, here they come again. It's like watching the waves crashing onto a beach at the moment. Thompson again, leading from the front. Ingano to D, quick work. Ooh. D just about getting away from Reece Lynn, and then sort of recycles the ball back in the direction of Geordie Thompson. Thought Geordie Thompson was going to chip that ball over the top then. And eventually takes the tackle. Jordan Baldwinson, one of those in at the tackle. Jason Talley, the other is Samti. Samti, short ball to Hudson. Hudson's got the ball down. The Knights are in again. This relentless pressure that is absolutely just blowing Doncaster away. It was Greg Burns. He went clean over the top of Kieran Hudson, gets his first competitive try for the York Knights. They lead 26 points to 0. What a return from the player signed from Castleford, Mick.
Just exhibition stuff from York now. You're looking at, like you're saying, Jordan Thompson, I thought we were going to chip over there. But I mean, York are throwing caution to win a little bit sometimes, just throwing the ball back out the back, but why not? 22-0 up, and they may as well, 26-0 up, they may as well have a go at that. But yeah, Santi's made an impact coming off the bench. Done a lot of work and got a lovely little ball out there. Some real good rugby league being played today. Fabulous stuff.
Sam Cook, but all the spade work done by that man again, Jordan Thompson. How many times has he set the position for the Knights in this first half?
Yeah, he's on fire today.
Liam Harris, curiously, with his left sock pulled up and his right sock rolled down. But it didn't make any difference to the conversion. That's through, and it is 28 points to 0. You are listening to BBC Radio York, watching a very, very good first half performance from the York Knights. They lead 28-0 here at the LNER. And Doncaster coach Richard Horne said in his pre-match interview that the Knights were too strong up front last time when Doncaster came here, and it's proving to be a case of deja vu, really. Craig Hall with the restart kick, and I think he has found touch. He has indeed found touch, so it should be Knights ball on the 10, Mick?
Should be.
Is that your reading of it? Or is it Doncaster ball on the 10?
It was they've taken the ball.
Yeah, I think it's Doncaster ball on the 10. Ball went out,
so it must have bounced beyond
off the turf, and first time Doncaster have had any field position whatsoever. So Burns, short ball to Jordan Baldwinson. Baldwinson stopped 5 metres out, just to the right of the post. Brendan Santi with the tackle. Burns to Boas, Boas to Robinson. Ball's come out of the Doncaster player's possession. He was on the angled run. And Doncaster, it was Jake Jones who couldn't control the pass of Connor Robinson. And the Knights are already making ground back up the field in the form of Ben Jones-Bishop. And then Liam Harris finds space again, and at the moment this Doncaster defence is at 6s and 7s. There's a lot of push and shove. The Knights have got a penalty. Louis McConnell makes his remonstrations to referee Matty Lynn, who's having none of it. I'm not sure what the Knights fans are singing at the moment up there, Mick. Can you get a handle on it?
I'll have a listen in, Andy. Come back to you.
Oh, York Knights are massive everywhere we go. There you go. That's been borrowed from the footy team, who had that fantastic 7-2 win yesterday over... Oh, Attingano, they won't stop him. They ain't going to stop him. There's Doncaster players left behind him all over the place. Jordan Baldwinson just picking him up, himself up off the turf. But Attingano just opened up. It was like watching a can opener and a tin of tuna, was that one. It was just absolutely carved them to bits up the middle, did Attingano. And the Knights score again, and it is their 6th try of this first half. And all Attingano's own work.
Such a strong player with great footwork, and you know, he got a fend on as well there, and they just couldn't handle him, and it's getting a little bit embarrassing for Doncaster now.
Just too lacklustre, lacklustre getting to him. Just once Ngannou got up ahead of steam, they were never going to stop him.
No, it's not a great thing for them now. I don't know how they're going to get themselves out of this position that they're in, because it's like you say, there's just wave after wave of attack coming from York, and just about every time they get good ball, they're scoring now.
Yep, Liam Harris about to convert, and the Knights will lead 34-0. And Liam Harris already racking up the points again today. He's into double figures again. 15 last week in that win over Widnes.
Would you have thought this score, Andy?
No, not at all. No. Liam Harris had to ask Matty Lynn whether he could. Matty Lynn was in conversation with Jack O'Neill. He maybe fancies himself on Love Island, you never know. Maybe asking for an application form. But anyway, Liam Harris has converted, 5th conversion out of 6, and it is 34 points to 0. Sorry, I've decided conversions are worth 4 points now, Mick. New rule. 34-0. Craig Hall once more with the restart. And as that one dropped in field, yes. So the Knights, I mean, Craig Hall's restarts have been the only high point for Doncaster in this first half. He's produced some cracking kicks that have caused the Knights all sorts of problems, and they're going to have to drop out from under their own posts.
Must have been right on the line, that though.
It must have been. There's only about 40 seconds left, so Doncaster haven't a lot of time to do anything with it, and the Knights are messing about here as long as they can. Matty Lynn, the referee, I presume, is saying, get on with it, will you? So Liam Harris it is with the restart kick. Look at Brendan Santi charging upfield. Well, caught by Watson Boas. Oh, hello, Watson Boas. Have that one. That was Ollie Field, I think, that made the contact. Reece Lynn goes short side, fancies something down there, the former England international. 5 metres in from the near touchline. I think penalty for a high challenge on Reece Lynn, and that's not the first one in the first half. But he's feeling suitably aggrieved, the young man, and it was, I think, Scott Galliano that battered him. But there is the hooter for half-time. We will play on because it's a penalty. Can Doncaster conjure anything up in overtime, essentially? They're going to swing the ball, that is for sure. They've absolutely nothing to lose. Connor Robinson hit with the tackle of, I think it's Sam Cook out there. That brings the first half to a close. And, well, what can you say, Mick Ramsden? The York Knights 34, Doncaster 0, and that's as comprehensive a first half performance as I've seen in a long time.
I totally agree, Andy. I think, like you say, it's complete, excellent performance throughout the team. I mean, who would have thought this? I certainly didn't think this would happen. But, you know, they're absolutely on fire today, York.
Yeah, Liam Harris just applauding the fans in the main stand as he comes off. And from a Doncaster point of view, that's an absolute car crash of a first half, isn't it?
Absolutely. Nothing like the side that played Toulouse 2 weeks ago. I know they've got a couple missing, but only a couple of players missing. They're just not playing with any of the vigour or enthusiasm, nothing. They're not showing anything. But then you've got to take your hat off to York. Sometimes when you're playing against a team that's playing so as well as what they are today, it gets you off your game. They've had nothing, Doncaster, no field position, no threat, nothing. They've just constantly been seeing a barrage of good attacking play coming at them.
That's a grim-faced Richard Horne makes his way up the tunnel, and from Mark Applegarth's point of view, he'll just be delighted, won't he?
He will, absolutely.
Yeah, well, look at the action of the first half. It was 8 minutes before York got on the board, and it was Paul McShane out of the play. The ball just twisted in the tackle from 5 metres out. Poor marker defence, really, by Doncaster, and York got their first. From a pass by Sam Cook, and they provided a try for Ata Ingano from 10 metres out. Liam Harris converted that. That was 10-0, 25 minutes. It was once again Geordie Thompson that was making all the ground forward. And McShane got the ball into Sam Cook, and he touched down to the right of the post. Liam Harris converted that one. That was 16-0 on the half hour. Ata Ingano, little kick off the outside of his boot from 15 metres out. Liam Harris coming back on the angled run, collected the ball. In his way and went in from 20 metres out under the post. Liam Harris converted. There we are at half time. The York Knights 34, Doncaster 0. And Mick, you're just more of the same from the Knights, I assume, second half.
Absolutely more of the same. Yeah, I mean, that was just like you said, you summed it up, Andy. It was a perfect half for them, really.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, there we are. Mick Ramsden alongside me, and a great first half from the York Knights. 34 points to 0 they lead here in the Championship against Doncaster. With that, we'll hand you back to James Hogarth in the studio. Yeah, thank you very much, James Hogarth. Welcome back to the LNER. 34 points to 0. York Knights lead. Matty Lynn, the referee, just flexing his knees and in conversation with Liam Harris, and the skipper. The York Knights he'd be very happy with the way his side have gone in that first half. There were tries for Paul McShane, 2 for Ati Ngannou. The skipper himself, Liam Harris, Kieran Hudson and Sam Cook with 5 conversions by the aforementioned Liam Harris. Not sure quite why we're held up at the moment, and maybe some people being moved away. I think possibly somebody in a stretcher being moved away behind the West Stand. Well, we hope they're okay and in good care as Liam Harris gets the second half underway in this championship game, and immediately Doncaster in trouble as the ball turns, and eventually it is collected by Watson Bowers, and a little ankle tap as he almost tips over himself type thing. But Doncaster once more having to defend from deep, Mick, and they didn't have too much success in that first half doing so.
Look at the line speed from York as well, flying up.
Yep. Yeah. And just not really having chance to draw breath. Connor Robinson trying to ease players into where he wants them, and they're not really running in there, and must be frustrating for him. Louis McConnell played against the Knights for Featherstone in the 1895 Cup final at Wembley. The Knights will be hoping the going back news, of course, that they've drawn Bradford here at the LNER in the semi-final. Oldham will play Featherstone in the other one. Be a big old match, that game against the Bulls down here. Bulls will have a big following with some atmosphere. Knights, of course, at Featherstone on Good Friday, 3 o'clock kickoff on Good Friday, and of course, as ever, BBC Radio York will have full coverage. Here's BBC Radio York, all our frequencies and online today with the Knights, as we will be all season long, down in Toulouse in France as well in August. Jody Thompson, he had a wow of a first half, and he's continuing, and Louis McConnell was hanging on to him there like a man trying to get on a runaway train. Just about did manage to hang on, and then a little bit of shepherding, and Brendan Santee just drops to the floor as he used his own man as a bit of a shield. Temporarily just halts the pressure on this Doncaster defence. Ngannou, kick back infield, Liam Harris! And quite what the Doncaster player was doing, I am not sure. I think it was Alex Sutcliffe that went to collect the ball. In fact, I might be doing Alex Sutcliffe for disservice. I think it was Connor Robinson. Yeah, he went to field the ball, and it skipped past him and straight into the hands of Liam Harris. The skipper has his second try of the game. The Knights have their first try of the second half, and it's more of the same. It's 38 points to 0 with just 3 minutes of the second half gone. Ati Ngannou's little grubber kick back in field on the angle, and Connor Robinson missed it, and the Ghost didn't.
Just like the try in the first half.
Yep, picked the ball up 5 metres out and simply had to run in and dump the ball down.
Yeah, everything's going for York. Bounce of the ball, as was shown there.
Sometimes it goes that way, Mick, doesn't it? Absolutely. And then you get another day where the ball just won't bounce for you. So Liam Harris, who's added to his personal points tally for the game, adds some more. 40, I'll just do a bit. I think he's up to 20 in a total of 40. 40 points to 0 against Doncaster, just 44 minutes in.
Model shot brings the scores to the Knights 40, Doncaster 0.
I think even the PA announcer said it with an air of disbelief, Mick.
I think he did, actually, yeah. It's just looking at the tries that have been scored, the amount that's come off half-backs and McShane here, totting them up.
I mean, the other thing that's stifling Doncaster is they're just not wrapping players up in the tackle. How many times have we seen Knights keep the ball alive, and then they give away a penalty through Greg Burns. It's just a horror show for Doncaster, it really is, and they just need to keep their chins up in this game, because it's not pretty for them.
It's not. And they'll have spoken at half-time about how do you deal with the second half. You just got to dig in and show some pride in the shirt, and up to now we're not seeing it at the moment.
They just seem the harder they try, the worse it's getting. Santi drives the ball up, stopped by the tackle of Baldwinson and Boas. And Sam Cook waits, eagerly awaits, I think you'd say, because all the Knights players wanting the ball at the moment. Jordy Thompson took a late shot, and the referee duly upholds the penalty. Did you must have played against Doncaster, did you, Mick, when they were christened the House of Pain, or was it a bit after that? When they became the House of Pain.
When St John Ellis was in charge, wasn't he, if I recall?
Yeah, they used to like to put a shot in those days, didn't they?
You did, and I know as the story goes, St John used to get them fired up in the changing rooms, and they were a really physical team, and it was always tough playing against Doncaster, especially at their place.
Yeah, poor old Singe, bless him, former York player, of course, and such a character and such a great lad, and such a loss in so many ways.
Yeah, absolutely.
Big ticking off for Sui Matagi, who sort of transgressed a few times in the first half, and has had the referee Matty Lynn in his ear as Liam Harris
played the advantage of the ref there. Good again, another case of good refereeing from him.
I think he's had a great game. I really do. I was singing his praises before the game. I'm glad I didn't have to go back on that. Sam Cook.
Oh, slick.
Easy try for Scott Galliano in the corner.
Really slick play.
Yeah, Briscoe jumped out of the line. Again, just surrendered arms, the Doncaster defence. Briscoe jumped out the line and Cook found Galliano, and
obviously a training move that, you know, it's going back short side with everyone knowing what they're doing and the set up and running at pace, and Doncaster didn't have an answer on that one.
Try scoring number 35.
Yeah, so 2 in 2 minutes at the start of the second half. It's 44 points to 0, and Scott Galliano charges over in the left corner from Sam Cook's pass off the back of that penalty conceded by Matagi. And it's kick to come. This one won't be quite as easy for Liam Harris. It's off the far touchline. Doncaster making a chase, a change, making a chase as well. It's Will Wilson, the young man on loan from Hull FC, who's coming onto the field as we await conversion. If you want to get in touch today, and it's a good day to get in touch, I might add, you can text us 81333, start your message with the word York, tweet us at BBC York Sport, or if you're on you fancy the old WhatsApp, that's start your message with the word York 08000 321 333. Be good to hear your thoughts on this York Knights performance, or possibly even the Doncaster performance. So Liam Harris, well, he's just added insult to injury because he just pinged the conversion off the touchline. It is 46 points to 0. Liam Harris's personal contribution, 22.
By the Monk Bar Model Shop brings the scores to the Knights 46, Doncaster 0.
Well, if we're going to see any changes in the second half, it's not showing up, is it? 7 minutes in, another 2 tries.
You look at that league table as well before the game, Mick, and Doncaster a point, a place above the Knights in the table. They've tried the short kick-off.
Wow.
The referee dictated that ball had gone 10 metres, but I don't think anybody else in the stadium thought it had.
Well, we're smack on that line, aren't we, Andy? And it drifted above the line. It was pretty close, so give him it. Let him have a go.
Yep, so Doncaster, they'll take anything they can get at the moment, as Will Wilson with his first carry. And referee just stops play for a moment, and I think it's for a knock to the Knights player, and it's Kieran Buchanan, the Scottish international, that maybe got his head in the wrong spot as Wilson came in with the ball. Been checked by the physios, just holding his neck. Jack Martin, he's eager to get back into the fray for the Knights down here. Just warming up on the touchline. Connor Fitzsimmons coming out with the water, leaving some debris behind him as he goes. I hope it's not his wallet he's dropped. And that's going to have to be a head injury assessment for Kieran Buchanan, unfortunately. He's going to be replaced by Harvey Reynolds in the 24 shirt for the Knights. Good round of applause from the main stand for Kieran Buchanan. Certainly doesn't seem groggy or anything, in conversation with the physio. Mark Applegarth just goes across, shakes hands with his centre. As Will Wilson goes to play the ball. Greg Burns. He's talking about his two brothers, Jono and Paddy. I don't know what Jono's doing these days, but I think Paddy's playing at Whitehaven.
All right.
I might be wrong. Jordan Baldwinson, a late hit on Jordan Baldwinson from Kieran Hudson.
That looked well forward, that pass.
Yeah, well, it was all about the late hit, wasn't it, Jordan Baldwinson? Yeah. No need for that either from Kieran Hudson at this stage of the game. The Knights 46 points to 0 ahead. And it's the first real bit of ill discipline we've seen from the Knights, Mick.
Yeah, it is.
And Kieran Hudson in his defence says, I got there as soon as I could. Here comes Baldwinson. It's a little known, today's little known fact, Jordan Baldwinson actually signed with New Zealand Warriors. Didn't play a game for him. Tate Ngannou gives the Doncaster player the bear hug on the Knights 20. There's Reece Lynn on the end of the bear hug. And here comes Louis McConnell up the middle. Started his career in the juniors at Methley Warriors, did Louis McConnell. Robinson, left side the attack. Craig Hall wrapped up by a very alert Connor Bailey. Doncaster on the 10, still pressing. First spell of pressure I can remember him having during the game. Boas, big forward pass. Not picked up by the officials. On the last tackle, Knights with a bit of defending to do. Doncaster got away with one there. You wouldn't be churlish and deny him that. Kick across field, great take by Ben Jones-Bishop. He's still in play. Great work by the former Leeds Rhino, Wakefield player, Sheffield player, former York Knight as well. Paul McShane back, Jack Martin back. Kieran Hudson comes off and Jordan Thompson comes off. That'll be another rejig of the formation that will seek to baffle their opponents. Like cracking the Enigma code, Mick. Trying to work out quite which York player's playing where. Jack Martin once more. We know where he's playing. Right up front, right in the faces. And then Harris, long kick downfield. Nice round of applause for the two players coming round the touchline. Jordan Thompson's been immense again today. Absolutely immense. He has. He's going to have a chat down there, look. He's so unassuming as well. That's the thing about Jordy Thompson. As we said last week, it's me job. Here he comes. A big hug between him and Mark Applegarth. What you brought me off for, boss? Let me back out there. I want to be out there.
That could be his day, that. Well,
yeah, I think so. I think it'd be a well-deserved rest for the Warhorse.
Interchanges for the Knights, leaving the field number 13, Jordan Thompson, sponsored by Cockrells. Number 31, Kieran
Doncaster still in possession. Watson Bowers tries to go through a gap. He's got a nice turn of pace as a Papua New Guinean, but he didn't get through the gap. It closed on him. Jesse Dean closed it on him. Here's Connor Robinson on the last, trying to fashion something over in the right corner. Scott Galliano takes that one all day.
Leaving the field, number 10, Suwai Matagi, being replaced by number 29, William Wilson.
I drive through Featherstone reasonably often, Mick, and I see that sign that says Featherstone, home of the Warhorse, and I expect to see Jordy Thompson on a plinth as I go through.
He absolutely is, isn't he? Yeah. I mean, his work rate there is just second to none, really.
Knights have a penalty again.
But he used to be, in his earlier days, I'm sure he was a centre, wasn't he?
He was a centre, and he was quite, I don't know how you'd call it. It was, I can't think of the description, but nothing like he plays at the moment. You know, it was.
Aside from he's got that step and pace still, even though he's bigger.
Yeah.
He's got a bigger frame, and he's still able to step defenders.
Yeah.
And he's got the passing ability as well. Good player.
Absolutely. Great career when you think, you know, Hull, Cass.
Yep.
Had a spell at Leeds, didn't he, with the Rhinos?
Yep.
But what a signing for York. And that story that gets told as well. James Ford it was that told him. I mean, these days I understand Jordan Thompson, you know, doesn't drink, but James Ford will tell you the story. He signed him, he thought if he could get him in the pub and get 2 or 3 beers down him, he might sign for York. I don't know how much truth there is in it. Here come the Knights again through Joe Brown, joining the line on the left side. Let's leave the pub and get back to the rugby league. It's Jesse D trying to get over, not got on the driver himself, not got on the scoreboard today yet. Is Hingano looking for a hat-trick, moves the ball on to Harris. And offside, yeah, a little bit of obstruction. Connor Bailey went to ground, but referee Matty Lynn decided that he had to pull the Knights.
He gave himself up there, but he wasn't accepted by the referee.
No.
Maybe just went a bit too far, but I don't know, a bit harsh.
So, Doncaster, they get a penalty. Jason Talley runs the ball in. A good servant at Doncaster, Jason Talley. Getting to the end of his career now. Jordan Baldwinson tries to evade the tackle of Martin and Sam Cook, not able to do so. Wilson into Boas. Boas wrestled to the ground by Sam Cook. You're listening to BBC Radio York. It is still 46-0. And we have 25 minutes to go here at the LNER. Jake Jones working hard for Doncaster, trying to get him a few metres. And then Idini Gebi thought about the offload, changed his mind on the last. Doncaster 42 from the Knights line. Craig Hall steeples one in the direction of Scott Galliano. I shouldn't say it, but he's just one of those players, when you see him get under the high ball, he just never looks like dropping it. He's just very cool, composed. The big man is on his way back. Kumatai, former New Zealand Warrior, former Huddersfield Giants. Brendan Santi comes off, applauds the crowd. That's reciprocated, of course.
And deserved.
Yeah. Yeah.
Real good engine on him, isn't he? He just never stops working something.
Mark Applegarth goes across to Brendan Santi and greets him. Just blows his cheeks out, Brendan Santi, as if to say, is that me done for the day? Here's Harris. Harris looking for a bit of broken field, didn't find it. Sensibly just offloads the ball into young Harvey Reynolds. And Paul McShane ambles his way to the play the ball. They're in no great rush to do anything, the Knights. Just look after the ball, respect the ball, game management, Mick.
Yeah, it is. But 46-0 as well. Let's keep the flair going. Why not?
Mick Ramsden hungry for some more tries at the side of me. Hanging kick from Hingano. Craig Hall defends it well, turns his back and makes sure he ushers that ball in to his midriff. And then Luke Briscoe trying to make some metres for Doncaster. They've steadied the ship a bit, haven't they, off the back of a couple of penalties and a bit of ill-discipline from the Knights. They've just, they shipped those 2 tries very quickly after half-time. But
yeah, that's settled a little bit, but that, like you said, a couple of penalties are getting a little bit of, well, you wouldn't call it good ball, but a little bit of field position now, but they're not making anything of it. Everything's very slow in what they're doing. Play the ball slow, they can't get any kind of forward momentum going.
Yep, they've plugged the leak. for a while, let's say.
Interchange for Doncaster, leaving the field number 15.
Burns to Knowles. Thought he played well early on, Brad Knowles, and then Craig Hall just had a little glance up to see who was going to come and bash him, and it was Connor Bailey. And at that point, then the ball had gone. It rattled off Craig Hall's knees and went to the floor, and that was a definite glance up.
Yeah, it was.
Did you do that, Mick, when you were playing? Did you glance up occasionally?
It just depends who you. Yeah, you know, no player can deny that they've not done that at some point in their career.
Yeah, that's another great James Ford story at half-time in a game when Dave Woods was in charge at York, and Dave Woods said to him at half-time he wanted him to switch who he was marking and try and stop Menzies Yerry. And Fordy said he looked at him and said, "I think you've got the wrong man." Oh, Galliano's away down the left, floating ball. Look at that pace! Wow. Oh, Scott Galliano from 50 metres out gets his second try of the game. And I said it last week and I'll say it again. He's got the speed of a racing pigeon, Mick.
He has. Good player, really, and it's first time I've seen him play. And he's strong and he's fast. Oh, great ball. Was that ball from Liam Harris? I think it was.
Yeah, it was Liam Harris.
Lovely cut-out pass.
The floaty pass that took out a couple of Doncaster defenders. And from that point then, I think it was Luke Briscoe who was tasked with trying to arrest the progress of the Australian flyer. And he couldn't do it. And on the hour mark, that temporary halt to the scoring has gone awry for Doncaster, and Scott Galliano, probably the try of the game, Mick, up to now.
Yeah, it's got to be. Been some decent tries today, but yeah, that was probably the pick of them.
Yep, Scott Galliano, 50 metres out, he took that ball out of the air from Liam Harris's floated pass.
Had a bit of work to do though, didn't he, as well?
He did, and it was all about the pace. So, 50 points to 0. Liam Harris to attempt the conversion from 15 in from the far touchline. Young Aaron Bailey, Fonty down here, another of the RFL's excellent young crop of referees. Just in conversation with Mark Ebblethwaite of the RFL. He was, Belafonte was refereeing the Valkyrie game earlier on that they won the Challenge Cup game 54 points to 6. Against Featherstone Rovers, who gave a good account of themselves today, Featherstone. And thankfully, Kieran Buchanan has passed his head test. He's about to go back out there. And Liam Harris misses with the kick. So his contribution stays at 22. The Knights go out to 50.
50, Doncaster 0.
Oh, Kieran Buchanan has been rejected. He's come scuttling back and picked up his his vest again. He went down the touchline keen to get back out there, and he returns to the bench. Conor Fitzsimmons winding him up a little bit down there about it. So Doncaster to restart. Hugo Salabio back out in the action, the French international. Oh, and Ben Jones-Bishop makes a bit of a howler of that one. It wasn't an easy ball to take. It was swinging on the wind and it went clean through and rattled him on the right knee.
It was spinning like a torpedo, that one, Andy.
Yeah.
Very hard to take, with the wind as well.
That's the one thing, the one high point about the way Doncaster have played today. The restart kicks have been superb.
Yeah.
And everyone has caused the Knights problems. So, can Doncaster profit from this one? They're on the Knights 20. Brad Knowles plays the ball. Greg Burns goes into Wilson. Wilson stopped almost immediately. Burns in the scrum cap, looks round, goes to Knowles again. Knowles to Robinson. Robinson deep ball to Craig Hall. Craig Hall to Talley. Talley looked initially as though he might bustle his way through, but the Knights did manage to get a hold of him. 3 metres out, 15 in from the near touchline. Robinson swings the ball across the front of the post. Brad Knowles will just take the tackle. Jack Martin has him round the ankles. Quick play the ball. Ball goes right into Watson Boas. Boas to Hall. Interception. Good night, Vienna. This is Scott Galliano. They ain't going to catch him. They ain't going to catch him. 20 metres, 10 metres. Hat-trick. He didn't get his hat-trick last week. He got it this week. Picked off the Doncaster pass from Watson Bowers, 15 metres from his own line. He's now got 2 tries in about 3 minutes.
The crowd loves tries like that, Andy, don't they? Everyone loves an interception.
You could have put all the tea in China on the fact that when he caught that ball, there wasn't anybody in that Doncaster side was going to catch him, Mick.
No chance.
So Scott Galliano, he's just gone in from 50 metres. He's now gone in from 85 metres. Just picked off Watson Bowers' pass. Doncaster obviously having to force the pass now. But Galliano gets the hat-trick. And the Knights go out to 54 points to 0. And the Knights fans are happy.
So how many minutes is it taken for his hat-trick, Andy, do you think? 20 minutes?
Wow,
You got it written down?
Yeah, oh, I will have it written down, Mick. He got the first one in the 45th minute. And he's just scored in the 63rd minute, so 18 minutes for hat-trick.
18 minutes, not bad.
Give or take a minute or two, give my time in. Sam Cook comes off, Kieran Buchanan goes back on. What's Sam Cook saying here? Look at this conversation going on here. Why has he gone out there? Why has he gone out? Why am I having to come off? Look at Sam Cook's face.
Yeah, they all want to be out there on a day like today.
His diss is absolutely gruntled as he's come off. And Liam Harris adds the conversion. It is 56 points to 0. Well, we got to half-time thinking that we might get a hat-trick from Martin Gano, and then suddenly he's been usurped by the Australian flyer.
And I think Gano's been relatively quiet in this half, really.
Yeah, he has, yeah. Ben Jones-Bishop makes a better job under this one and pouches the ball safely, and he's put to ground just inside his own 20 by the tackler Jake Jones. Kieran Buchanan with his first carry since resuming. Former Batley player, of course. They had Andy Wynn beat London down in London yesterday. Hingano floated ball into Holyfield. Holyfield, another man who likes a try, who's not got on the board yet today. You can see what competition for places is doing, can't you, to this Knights side. Liam Harris, the skip, comes off, well-earned rest. Still got, it's not his sock, he's got, it's like a protective bandage he's got on that left leg. I thought he had one sock up, one sock down, but not so. Hingano, high hanging kick for Craig Hall. He must be sick of seeing them, but he's taken it well. It was Kieran Hudson that went out to replace Liam Harris. Liam Harris puts the vest on, he knows this day's done. Luke Briscoe escapes the attempted tackle of Holyfield and makes 15 metres extra. But Doncaster still in their own half. Horrible scruffy play. The ball eventually picked up by Watson Bowers, who's been lively. And then Robinson to Tally. Tally stopped just short of halfway by the tackle of Harvey Reynolds and Connor Bailey. Bailey again just swings his shoulder into Hugo Salabio and stops him in his tracks. Brad Knowles, been as good as anybody for Doncaster. Run honestly and with endeavour. So Bowers, that ball's jumped at by Luke Briscoe, tipped back into play by Doncaster. Reece Lynn fashions some sort of a kick back inside. Joe Brown possibly knocks it on. I'm not sure whether he hasn't, he's decided it was a Doncaster hand first. So the Knights, everything they touch today seems to come up. They've got the decision there. Sam Cook wants to be back out there. Yeah, he's obviously...
he's paid some money to Mash.
Yeah, he has, yeah. He said, I'll buy you a pint if I can get back out there, boss. Not looking as disgruntled now, Mick.
He's just 20 quid down, isn't he?
Yeah. Yeah. He's waiting. It's like one of those wildlife programs, the vulture standing there, just waiting. It's prowling now, doing a bit of prowling. Knights in possession, 40 from their own line. Ate Ngannou injects a bit of pace, goes back to McShane, who promptly drops the ball. Didn't want that back, didn't Paul McShane? Sam Cook replaces Jack Martin. Jack Martin comes off. And he gets a cuddle from his boss as well, Mark Applegarth. Just has a little word with him. As Doncaster. Now it's offside actually. Paul McShane dropped the ball and then Ate Ngannou, I think, recollected it. So deemed offside, so it's a penalty to Doncaster on the 30. And then they threw a pass to Connor Robinson that he took in with a lot of difficulty. And Hugo Salabio finds a bit of footwork. And then the ball comes out. This might be a penalty. No, it's not a penalty. I thought there was possibly a bit of a rip by Akuma Tai, but referee Matty Lynn thinks otherwise. So Knights back in possession. They lead 56 points to 0. It is BBC Radio York. All our frequencies and online. Sunday afternoon rugby league with the Knights, and on for 4 wins on the bounce. They'll go to Featherstone in really good spirits on Good Friday after this one, Mick Ramsden.
Absolutely confident. Yeah, it's they'll go there with loads of confidence after this. Have 4 games in a row, wins, an excellent performance today, and it'll be all on for a win at Featherstone on Friday now.
Paul McShane trying to go through a gap. Saw a little chink of daylight there between Jake Jones and Reece Lynn and almost got through it. Navi Reynolds, Salabio, yards offside. Absolutely yards offside. There was Hugo Salabio. I suppose Doncaster thought, well, we've nothing much to lose now. Oh, Kieran Hudson. Strong run from the former Castleford player. Sam Cook to Ngannou. Ngannou to Akuma Tai, trying to hustle and bustle his way past the Doncaster front line defence. Navi Reynolds, who continues to impress in the York Knights shirt, had to start off the bench today. On the last for the Knights, this will get some air. Going to be McShane off that left boot in the direction of Idini Gebi, who takes the tackle immediately as Kieran Buchanan gets to him. But Doncaster are back in possession. 10 minutes to go. I shall be asking Mick Ramsden alongside me for his man of the match very shortly, if he wants to have a think about that one. Greg Burns has come off for Doncaster.
Some big shots going in the last couple of minutes, Andy.
Have that one. It was Sam Cook again. He does hit hard. The Kiwi. Try to give it some air on the far side. Reece Lynn drops the ball off into Luke Briscoe, but too much traffic in his wake. The Knights had plenty of troops there. And once more, Watson Boas jumps out of the ball at speed. Looks like a sprinter coming out of blocks, does Watson Boas. He gets up to speed very, very quickly. Connor Robinson looking for the 40-20. Nice pair of soft hands from Ben Jones-Bishop. The Knights will restart from halfway. They lead 56 points to 0.
Number 29.
If you want to get in touch with BBC Radio York, let us know your thoughts on the game.
Number 10.
Text, tweet,
Suwali
or
Matagi.
WhatsApp us. Be great to know your thoughts on what's been a cracking Knights performance. Connor Bailey wrestling strong. And as I say, performance like this could only add to that competition for places. Hudson to Ngannou. Keeps the ball alive. Goes to Jesse D. To Ollie Field. 2 of them out there on the left side. Still hunting their first try of the game today. But the Knights have another penalty for a late hit. Yeah, may well have been the one on Kieran Hudson as he delivered the ball into Sam Cook. 8:50 to go here at the LNER. The Knights obviously will go above Doncaster in the table after today, and the Knights certainly starting to make a march towards the playoffs. Sam Cook to Akumatai. Knights within 12. Cook to Hudson. Hudson already on the scoreboard in the first half, looking for another try, brought to ground just to the left of the post. Within 5, Sam Cook, quick pass, Singano offloads the ball. And I think the Knights have been stopped just short, and possibly a little knock-on in there. Could well have been Ollie Field, last one up. Long way from us under the scoreboard. Jesse D, I think, just couldn't quite reel the ball in. It was a quick, sharp, snappy pass. Thoughts on the game as well, Mick?
No, it's very impressive game, performance by York. It's good to see that they had a bit of early season dips in form, but they've come back really strongly over the last 4 games, and then 4 good wins in a row against some really good teams. And I was expecting a little bit more from Doncaster today, but again, it's just a massive performance from York, and that's one of the reasons why Doncaster haven't performed.
And of course, Jesse D's taken a knock. The one big target now with 7 minutes left, you know as well as I do, former assistant coach and player, the biggest target now is to keep that 0 against Doncaster, isn't it?
It is, and when Doncaster have had 2 or 3 sets on York's line, particularly in this half, pretty sure that they'll all get excited about defending the line, because they want to be tested and then still end up with a 0.
The driver comes off. Jesse D, the driver, back to the touchline. He says, "Well, there's nothing wrong with me."
I think they thought he got a bit shook up when he reached over trying to score, but he's all right. Oh no, he's getting a head test.
He's having to go for head test, but Jesse doesn't agree with it. Shaking his head as he goes. Doncaster in possession, 35 from their own line at the moment. It'd be an interesting stat to see how much time the ball spent in the Doncaster half of the field and how much in the Knights half of the field. I wouldn't have thought more than 15% in the Knights half of the field today. Connor Robinson still trying manfully against his old side. Hooks up with Boas. Boas goes to Reese Lynn. Reese Lynn tries the fend and drops the ball. And that just that says everything about Doncaster's day, that. Reese Lynn, he fended the Knights player off and then lost the ball out of his other hand.
They just want it to be over, don't they?
Yeah, they'll have better days. They'll certainly have better days than they've had today, will the South Yorkshire side. And they wouldn't have imagined coming here that they'd been on the end of a 56-0 hiding, Mick.
No way. It's not as though they've lost players in the really key positions either. They've got the pivots are all there.
That's a strange ball out of the scrum. That's squirted out like a bar of soap out of a baby's hands, that one. Anyway, Doncaster have got possession somehow. And then a little knock on from Watson Boas that has gone unnoticed. Louis McConnell at the play of the ball now to Sui Matagi in centre field. A former Parramatta player takes the tackle and just feels his knee. Alex Sutcliffe got a bit of a wipe across the face from Akumatai again. Matty Lynn not really interested. Brad Knowles bobble as the ball comes into him, gets the offload into Craig Hall. Craig Hall tries to put a little kick in behind the defence, but only succeeds in putting the ball into the possession of Paul McShane, who unloads backwards into Ben Jones-Bishop. Ben Jones-Bishop's found a bit of space, looked threatening just for a second, brought down 30 from his own line. The Knights, as I say, and it's a penalty given against Jacob Jones. Knights don't have to do anything dramatic now at all. This game is well and truly won, and I keep interrupting you just as you speak.
I was just going to say, Ben Jones-Bishop's little shuffle that he did there was just fantastic, really, to beat the player.
Kieran Buchanan, and Doncaster. What on earth happened to the Doncaster defence? Connor Robinson, Jason Talley, Jake Jones, Edini Gebbie, Craig Hall, all watched Kieran Buchanan tap the ball and raced clean through the lot of them, 35 metres out from the Doncaster line. That's the sort of stuff you don't see at this level, Mick. That's the sort of stuff you see on a school field.
Yeah, pretty embarrassing, really. Really poor attempt to tackle there. Was it Tally there, Andy? He got through.
Yep.
Yeah, just.
I mean, Matty Lynn, the referee, allowed a very quick play the ball, but Doncaster just weren't prepared at all.
No.
So, Kieran Buchanan with a tap and go from 35 metres out. And effectively 5 Doncaster players watching him do it. And we are within 7 minutes of the final hooter. And Paul McShane takes over the kicking duties with Liam Harris off the field. He's stacked his 22 points he scored today in his kit bag, and the Knights now lead by 62 points to 0. And again, when these results come up, there'll be a lot of teams around the championship who'll look at that and say, oh, wow.
And so they should. You've got to think that York are one of the form teams in the league at the moment.
So Craig Hall once more to restart for Doncaster. Goes for the long one this time as a light aircraft flies over the stadium, and Jack Martin once more barrels into the onrushing Doncaster defenders. Akumatai. They're just every one of the 13 players out on the field in a night shirt just really look as though they're enjoying themselves, Mick.
They really are enjoying it, and they don't want to be coming off, do they?
No.
The ones on the bench are all grumbling about being there and wanting to be on the field.
Yep.
Confidence is high in the team.
Yep, Kieran Hudson. He looks a unit as well, doesn't he?
Yes.
Here's a Kumatai again to Jack Martin. 3 big men in tandem there. And they've absolutely bossed it, the Knights forwards today.
Yeah.
Sam Cook just threads the ball downfield. Clever stuff from the Kiwi. Dying embers of the game, and just kicked in on the last behind the Doncaster defence. Ball rolls into touch 15 from the Doncaster line. And there's some very weary bodies trampling back into that Doncaster line, aren't there? You know, you look at Matagi, he's got his knee bandaged up. Louis McConnell.
Yeah, they've not enjoyed it, have they?
No. Watson Boas, the one man who's sort of kept sprightly among it all. And then they make another error. Matagi went to Jake Jones. Jake Jones got ahead of the ball and knocked on.
It's a horror show for them, isn't it, really?
It's horrendous. Yeah. So the Knights will resume possession. We've lost the clock, so I can't tell you how long there is to go, but I suspect not very long. Come on, give us your Knights man of the match. And again, much like last week, it's not an easy pick.
Well, so I'm going to cheat a little bit, if you don't mind, Andy.
Go on, you go ahead.
I'll just let this attack go, then I'll come back to that.
Yeah, sure. Here comes Ngannou. Ngannou still looking for that hat trick, but ball tidied up by the man who's got one, Scott Galliano. Goes to the turf. And Ollie Field, he's worked hard all day as Ollie Field. Playing at left centre. Prefers the second row, I think, but enjoys himself at centre. And then Jack Martin. The Mustang, that's his nickname apparently. Jack Martin, the Mustang. Paul McShane, ball going right, little inside ball to Joe Brown on support. Stopped 8 metres from the Doncaster line as that wind whips up again. It's been chilling us for most of the afternoon, but we've certainly been warmed by a fabulous performance from the Knights. Akumatai stopped just adjacent to the left-hand post. There is the hooter, and Ngannou, and icing on the cake. for Harvey Reynolds. And Doncaster had, well, I think half of them were on the way to the tunnel at that point. Harvey Reynolds just wandered in as he wished, right on the hooter. Ata Hingano just prizing him in there after some good work by Jack Martin. And Harvey Reynolds gets the try, and I think that'll be his young man's first try of the season. It was indeed. 66 points to nil with a kick to come.
Try score for the Knights, number 24,
Hooter having sounded.
Harvey Reynolds, sponsored by the Little Yorkshire Coffee Company.
And,
Today's Jeff Price, player of the match.
Skipper and the coach having a hug and some words down there.
Number 13, Jordan Thompson.
Geordie Thompson given the official man of the match. We await Mick Ramsden's verdict.
Right, so I was going to cheat, and I was writing my first little cheat on it actually, because I wanted to give a first half and a second half man at match.
Go on then.
Jordan Thompson all day long first half. However, like with some brilliant performances by all the players, but Liam Harris, Hingano, Max Shane all played well all through, through the game. But Jordan Thompson first half man of the match. But my second half man of the match, I'm going to give it to Galliano for an 18-minute hat trick.
Yeah, I can't argue with that, Mick. We missed the last kick, so it is 66 points to nil here in the sixth round of the championship at the LNER, and one or two players. Geordie Thompson goes across and gives Richard Horn the biggest hug, a sort of conciliatory, I'm sorry, mate. But Richard Horn in conversation at the moment with Mark Applegarth, but his Dons were second best all day, absolutely all day. And I've got to agree, I go for Geordie Thompson as man of the match. I just thought he played an hour and he was just absolutely immense. He battered that Doncaster defence in the first half with help from Brendan Santee and Jack Martin and Akuma Tai, and the forwards set the platform, and the Knights had a real fluidity about their attack, Mick, didn't they?
All the way through. I mean, it was it was an attacking show, really. Can't really fault how they played in attack and defence as well. Sometimes they got tested a few times, not many times, but when they were tested on their own line, they stood up strong, and that'll mean a lot to Mark Applegarth to get the 0 as well. Yeah. So all in all, a fantastic afternoon for York.
Yeah. Fantastic analysis as well, Mick Ramsden. Great to have you back with me. Shivering a bit now. It's cold, isn't it?
It's cold now, yes.
But yeah, fabulous afternoon's rugby league to entertain us from the Knights. Quickly through the action of the second half, the Knights led 34 points to nil at half-time. They got 2 tries in quick order straight after half-time. Hingano's grubber kick back inside was collected by Liam Harris. He picked the pockets of Connor Robinson, went in for the try and converted. That was 40 points to nil. We then had the first of that quick-fire hat-trick from Scott Galliano. He went in at the left corner from Sam Cook's pass after Matagi had been penalised, and Liam Harris converted that one from the touchline. That was 46-0. Galliano went in from 50 metres out down the left side from Liam Harris's floated pass on the hour mark. That was 50 points to nil. Just 3 minutes later, Galliano picked off Watson Bowes' pass deep in his own half and raced 85 metres with nobody getting near him. And Liam Harris converted that. That was 56-0 on 73 minutes. Probably the easiest try you'd see at this level of rugby league. Kieran Buchanan took a penalty, tapped the ball against his instep, and simply 5 Doncaster players watched him go from 35 metres out. Paul McShane converted that one. That was 62-0, and after the hooter, Ata Hingano eased Harvey Reynolds in on the left side of the attack after some good work by Jack Martin with the, I think the Doncaster defence probably halfway up the tunnel, to be honest with you, by that point. It finished York Knights 66, Doncaster 0, and the Knights, needless to say, will go above Doncaster in the table. That's about it from us for the time being down here. We'll hope to get some reaction from Mark Applegarth. We've got about 12-13 minutes left on the programme. I'll just say my thanks once more to Mick Ramsden. We'll see him again this season. Thanks, Andy. At some point, brilliant to have him along. And with that, 66 points to nil, the York Knights winning. I'll hand you back to James Hogarth in the studio.